Hey guys, it's Susan Newton here. Good morning. Glad to be here to chat with you a little bit. While we're waiting, we'll go ahead and set the intention. Our talk today is going to be about context and how it's an opening for transparent and mindful communication. So we talked about it a little bit over the weekend at the event down in the Brewery District at, okay, I had just a severe weather alert pop up on my phone there, and it disrupted the feed. Anyway, this past Sunday, we did an event at the Short North, Fresh Perspectives. What used to be Wine and Dine and Divine Company is now Fresh Perspectives. The same event, doing the same things, just calling it a different thing. So anyway, context is what we chatted about, context with relationship to rapport, and it's just such an important topic. I thought I'd bring a follow-up to what we did on Sunday out to you guys, and it will also incorporate a little bit of what we talked about on Sunday. So it is with purity of intention and unconditional love that we request and receive divine and pure insights, wisdoms, and truths, and that all things come forward in a manner in which they're able to be clearly understood and integrated into your everyday life for your purpose and path of best destiny. Excuse me. So welcome. Let's see, I got Liz there and Janine. Hi. I just saw a super cute picture of I think your youngest son headed off on a what looks to be a really exciting, fun trip. So congratulations. Always fun to keep up with people on Facebook. It's amazing to me actually how Facebook is able to sort of span the globe and connect people that would not be connected otherwise. So that's a fun thing about Facebook. I know everybody goes on and on sometimes about social media and how it can be a detriment, but just like everything else, everything has both sides of the coin. Each thing that is a detriment in certain situations is benefit in others. So that's actually one of the largest foundational pieces of this work, is to be able to, what I refer to as a tool for transformation, refer to it as opposite land. So that everything you look at, when you think of it as being bad, then you take the moment to look at it as being good, which is going to bring us right into the topic of context. So why is that? Well, because everyone's past provides them this unconscious, subconscious, conscious, superconscious form of living. Whether you know it or not know it, you're living from your past, with your past always. And there's negative aspects of it and positive aspects of it. And when you are really clinging to the feeling of how you live, I should say that a little bit differently. When you're clinging to the feeling and you're actually living through the feeling, you're repeating the past unknowingly, oftentimes, sometimes knowingly. Sometimes people are aware of it and they do it anyway. And there's a reason for that, I'm sure, that comes into play, and everything is in divine timing as far as what I know to be true and how I live. But when you have these past experiences that are living through you because you're giving them life through your angst or your anger or your sadness, then you are repeating the pattern in your present moment, and you're also in the present moment paying forward results into your future because of where you're vibrating, where you're living, where you're interacting with energy, how you're interacting with energy. So context has everything to do with that good, quote, good, bad, right, wrong, past environment that is always with you in your present moment. I always sort of get a chuckle when people say, well, that's the past, don't talk about the past. Well, if you don't talk about it in a useful way, and you're still suffering from the feelings of it, then you're going to be living it, especially if you don't talk about it, because then you're stuffing it, compartmentalizing it, in allowing it to live in the subconscious in a way that it's actually driving your bus, so to speak, in control, wants to be in control frequently. So when you can get to know it, talk to it, address it, and change your story of it, which you guys hear me talk about all the time, you are able to then shift in the moment, in the present moment with your past, and allow that past to be a really foundational and beautiful piece for your present moment and on into your future. Therefore, you stop paying forward old patterns into your descendants. I, for one, be the first one to raise my hand. I have absolutely paid forward patterns from my past into the future through my kids, unknowingly. Now I know how that works, or at least I know some of how that works. I don't think we ever know everything. I think, speaking for myself, I know just a itty bitty little bit of what all's going on. But what I do know is what I know because it's what I've experienced. So when I'm speaking to you guys, this is not my opinion about things. This is what I've experienced through my life, the information that flows into me from God, Holy Spirit, and Jesus as I walk in that path provides me these experiences that I have, and then I'm sharing them with you so that as you experience your life, maybe there are some tools for transformation, some fresh perspectives, and some messages of empowerment that will assist you as you go through your life. So back to context, it also gives you the ability to have compassion, first for yourself, and then for the people outside of you, and or for the people outside of you first, and then back into yourself. It happens both ways. Sometimes we notice our feelings outside of ourselves as we get triggered or agitated by a circumstance or a choice that a person has made who we've come in contact with. And when that's the case, you're working from the outside in. And you're doing that if you choose to do that. And that's what I invite people to do and teach people to do. So when you find yourself having a pretty strong emotion coming up for somebody on the outside, for somebody and with someone in a way that you want to talk about it, you want to gossip about it, it makes you mad, you want to just blah, 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 blah about that other person versus wanting to come home. So that's another tool for transformation. Always do your homework first. And when you do your homework first, so whatever you've realized out here, the context is the feeling place that you have. So one of the things that I shared as an example in the class on Sunday, when a long time ago, in my early 20s, I worked at Huntington Bank, and one of the managers there was deathly afraid of mice, but we didn't know that. We walked in the morning and a little family of mice was scurrying around on the floor. I'm going, oh, they're so cute, because I'm like Ellie Mae from the Clampets. And this other girl, is literally in tears, in heels, standing on top of her desk, petrified. So we both have different context there. And the context for her, we found out later, as a child, she was walking through a barn and a mouse dropped into her shirt, scurried around in her back. She couldn't get it out. Obviously, that'd be very scary. Even as an adult, I would not like that, let alone a child. And so she's traveled all these years with that memory as part of her context. And so, whereas I am like, oh, they're so cute, I love them, I like to pick them up and they're furry and snuggly and cute and adorable. I've never had a bad experience that would provide me a feeling place that was scary or fearful. So my context for the experience of the mouse was very different than this woman's context for the experience with the mouse. Once we found out what was going on, all of us, myself included, who were standing there saying, oh my God, it's just a little mouse. What are you doing? What's going on? Get off the desk. It's okay. Not a big deal. But once we all found out what happened and that she literally went right back into that feeling space of what was going on, that context, knowing that context of where she was coming from, allowed us all to have more compassion for her and allowed us to talk to her differently, allowed us to interact with her differently and help her to find some solutions that would help her to calm down and feel better through that day. So context is so enormously important. Number one, just for yourself. Hi, Michael. And number two, for getting to know other people and being able to communicate with transparency and with compassion. And mindfulness, right? Mindfulness for me is automatically united with the heart, which I have actually heart on today, that my oldest son gave me for Christmas, and it's from Colorado. Yay, sidebar. Anyway, it allows you that mindfulness, when you can bring wisdom in that creates compassion, you're opening your heart and you're allowing yourself to address things in a different way. Instead of automatically assuming that another person is just being ridiculous, you can 100% of the time remember, oh, well, they must have had an experience, or they have something, whatever. They have some reason, a conditioning or an experience, maybe something they don't remember, maybe something they do remember. Oftentimes for myself, I deal with ancestors, literally. So the energy of the ancestors comes through with you on your DNA and can absolutely be awakened and hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for joining. The ancestors walk with us through paying forward. You know, there's multiple different ways. The energy itself walks with us cellularly, but we also pay forward that condition, that conditioning, and or the condition of the circumstance, the context, right? Another form of saying that. We pay that forward in the way that we raise our children, in the way that we interact with our siblings, in the way that we interact with our parents and our teachers, and the way the teachers and caregivers interact with us. So we are continually paying forward the past in our present, through our present moment into the future. And when you have that ability to place context, even if you don't know what the context is, if you use context as a tool to create rapport. So you remember, oh, okay, whatever that person is going through right now, they have a reason. Even if they don't know the reason, there's something coming up for them. And you are able to be more compassionate, number one, for yourself and for others. Number two, you're able to be more successful at setting useful boundaries. So that is a very, very enormous piece of this work, being able to make useful choices. So you don't function from right and wrong, good and bad anymore. The more you guys hear this, and I'm so excited. There are so many teachers out there teaching this same information in their own way. And there are millions of people being exposed to it right now, which is exciting for our planet because it means that we're awakening and we're coming to a place of compassion that disables enabling, right? Enabling something sometimes can be useful, but enabling something that is disrespectful isn't always useful. And when you can choose consciously to wake up and be more aware of that and take context into account, create that rapport, remembering that there's a context, there's a reason that that person is feeling that way. There's a reason that person enjoys something. That's the other thing. You know, there's the other side of the coin here. Context does not always have to do with something bad, right? It has to do with everything. It has to do with the wonderful things, the fun things, the exciting things, the passionate things. Why are we passionate about them? Why do we enjoy them? Because of the memories, because of the context. So for instance, my kids, actually I was telling this story last night to my boyfriend. One of my most favorite memories of two of my four kids. I have four kids, 31, 29 and a half, 25, and 21, 3 boys and a girl. And my older 2 boys called me back when they were in their early 20s. They had moved out and they were both living in Colorado. And I got a call one day and they wanted the recipe for this sugar cookie, the sugar cookie recipe that I grew up with as a child. And I paid that forward into my kids, literally. Baked them into their mouth and into their tummy. And they had wonderful experiences of that, wonderful smells of that, tastes of that, the gustatorial olfactory, the love, the connectivity, so kinetic, the visual, all the sensors, all the sensory perceptions were connected to these cookies in this specific way, to the degree that here's these early 20-year-old boys calling to get the recipe so they could bake them together. So for me, how fun was that? I have all these visuals now of these big, tall boys in the kitchen baking and sort of laughing and chuckling. And they kept calling me through the whole process of the grocery store, hey, Vicki, and of, baking them and what it tasted like and what it smelled like. And oh my gosh, they did it and it came out the same way as when they grew up. And so it was fun. So that context for them created this really wonderful experience. And so that is context as well. And when you want to create rapport, to have wonderful experiences with another person, you can take the time to get to know that other person and why that brings them joy. Or you can get to know the other person and discover why someone is fearful about a certain thing. And what I have come to know through my own experience is that the more I'm able to communicate first with myself and then with others who are interested in getting to know me or wanting to know me, as I am interested in wanting to know them and get to know them, the rapport and the depth and the enjoyment of the relationship is so much more fulfilling and so much more connected because you're really, really getting to know the person. So that's where the transparent piece comes in, right? If you are a person who is not transparent and who withholds information in certain circumstances because you don't want to have a, quote, confrontation, then you are giving yourself a red flag and a reminder that, oh, okay, I've got some victim going on here. It's not bad. It's just a reminder that you still have that. And then it's an invitation for you to help that victim part to become something more. Quite literally, that victim part is living from the experience that is based on a lie. Why do I say that? Because it was an experience that somehow helped that part to feel that they weren't loved, they weren't taken care of, they weren't provided for. And when you live from that place, you are quite literally living out a lie. You're living out something that, in fact, felt that way, but really wasn't that way, because in some way, shape, or form, on some level, you have always been cared for, you have always been loved, and you have always been taken care of. And you're still here, so the living, breathing proof of that allows you to know that from your heart and in your heart. And to remember that in this world, we all have experiences that are unpleasant and some that are pleasant and everything in between, right? We run the whole spectrum of experiences with our senses. And so the context, getting to know the context creates the rapport, creating the rapport creates compassion. Having compassion creates rapport. You can really start at any single point of any of those things that we're discussing, and they are all linked together, and they all facilitate for you to be able to function compassionately, transparently, consciously. When you make a choice to be conscious, it doesn't mean you just automatically are going to be 100% conscious. What it means is that you have now stepped onto the path of the process of becoming conscious through your awareness, through paying attention to your words and the parts of yourself that come up that clearly are not conscious. They're conscious of some things, but not of all things that you're aware of. And at the same point, what you're aware of now, if you keep in mind, that's very small amount in comparison to what is really going on in the big picture. So there you have it. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. It was just a little recap of what we did in the group on Sunday. By the way, it was really, really a great group, and thanks to Copious for having us there. It's a really fun venue. We have a nice little room, an all brick room, big windows that overlook the street, and just a really, really nice, comfortable, fun room. So hopefully some more of you guys will join the second Sunday of each month for Fresh Perspectives. The group events are always so significant. A lot of emotional healing work is done. I have this way, well, I don't even know if that's the way to call it, but it is sort of. There is a way of being and a way of life that flows to me and through me that I own to the best of my ability and live. And emotional health and wellness and clearing happens through me, just as learning how to communicate. And actually learning how to communicate facilitates the healing. So there are frequently times when I have coughing or yawning, little bouts that happen when I'm clearing or helping to facilitate healing in the emotional field when I'm working with clients and or when I'm working with the group. So when a group comes together, everybody's learning with everyone, and we're all using our open-heartedness and our transparent communication and our ability to learn and to be open to finding out about others. And when you're open to finding out about what's going on with others, you'd be surprised at how similar we all are. We may be in different places at different times. We may have different things that we express or different forms or ways of expressing, which has to do with context. It also has to do with our unique and beautiful God-given talents and gifts that we come in here with. So that's really the work, and I always get excited to talk to you guys about it and work with you guys, and always am so grateful to have my mentoring clients show up, whether it's individually or at an event, because I have to share with you, it is just a beautiful thing to be witness to all of these courageous men and women out there. And I'm sure I know just a little fraction of who all's doing the work, but the ones that I am in contact with and communication with just are doing a fantastic and fabulous job, and working through their emotional field, loving themselves and learning how to communicate and enjoy their life in a more fulfilling way. So thank you, everybody. Great Tuesday to you. Hope you have a lovely day. Remember to be aware. Remember to be conscious. Excuse me. And remember to be conscious of context and use that knowing and that awareness that context will allow you to have more compassion and create rapport with others. All right, love you guys lots, and I will talk to you later. Hi, Tracy. You'll have to... Speaking of clearing, here I go. Oh, sorry. I'll finish that when I'm off here. Okay, well, you got an example of what that's like. So we must have jostled up some stuff in the energy field, and when I get off the phone, that cough will continue until it comes out in sort of a loud burp. That's what happens. All right, so Tracy, you'll have to go back through and listen to everything, and in the meantime, hey, Dawn, you'll have to go back through and listen too. You guys are seeing my eyes watering because I just have a clearing bubble coming up right at the end. So, okay, you guys that know how this happens are probably chuckling right now. Nope, there she goes again, clearing something. So, all right, have a great day. Be sure and comment in there. I'd love to hear your feedback, and be sure and do the thumbs up and the likes and the shares. The more the information goes out, the more people have the opportunity to learn how to awaken and embrace their beauty. And remember, all of you guys who do this work, you're contributing to that energy field expanding and growing in our world. And each step and each choice that you make to be a part of that allows other people to have the opportunity to do that same work. So thank you very much. And hi, Lola. Say hi. All right. I'll talk to you guys later, probably before next Tuesday. Bye. Have a good day.